20 years of Jyotish knowledge summarized in, let's see, 10, 15, or 20 minutes. 10 ways you can become a great predictive astrologer. Yes, because at the end of the day, you may talk of so many things. You may talk of intuition, you may talk of remedies, you may talk of spirituality. But if you are in astrology and you want to become an astrologer, 99% of the people will judge you by your predictions, and that is the absolute truth. That's Param Satya. So, therefore, if you someday want to become a good predictor, you may do astrology full time or part time, that doesn't matter. But you want to predict things like real concrete things, then you can use these 10 techniques. And these are techniques which you might have heard in many places. But today I want to summarize them for you because they have helped me to upgrade my prediction skills. And therefore, I want to pass this knowledge to you also. All right. So, number one, please, please master a technique by only practicing it. For example, you are reading, learning. Like recently, I made a video on Instagram where I said the only reason why you are not learning astrology is because you are learning too much. Which means you learn. There's nothing wrong in learning, but you are like going on reading books. You are reading that astrologer's books, this astrologer book, this classic, that classic. But are you practicing anything, my dear sir, my dear madam? If not, then you are wasting your time because all the knowledge that is there in the books is theoretical knowledge. Now, I'm not condemning books or even videos, my videos, any other astrologer's videos. I'm not condemning anybody. But if you just keep reading books or seeing videos, waste of time. It will not help you. Okay. So it will help you, but it will put a full stop because see, at the end, what happens? The overall chart has to be analyzed. So you have to read one technique and you have to practice it. And you have to practice it by seeing all other parameters of astrology. If you don't do that and you just do it with that thing, like for example, let me give you an example. Like for example, Saturn is in this house, so this will happen, that will happen. Very generic things, doesn't work, useless, nonsense. Okay, it doesn't work. You show me Saturn in seven. People, I can show you charts with people now where people have had early marriages, late marriages, no marriages, very quick marriages, okay, or divorce or remarriage, extramarital affair. All combinations are possible with any planet. Okay, why is it happening? That the same planet for this person in this house is giving this result because the overall chart says something different for every 8 billion people in this world, right? 7 to 8 billion. So, therefore, read a technique but master it and practice it. And if the more you do it, you will understand how to actually read charts. And if you can look at one chart every day, especially when if you are a beginner, it will work wonders for you. All right. So master a technique, practice it, and use it and apply it on one chart per day. Number two, when you are making a prediction, please use minimum two dasha systems. Minimum, I'm saying. Like you can use dasha systems of different traditions, okay, or one tradition itself, or different sciences. Like for example, we have astrology, we have dashas in astrology, then there are dashas in numerology, and then using your palm also you can tie some events, right? Time some events. So either ways, or you say, oh, I use Vimshotri, I use Chara dasha, I use Narayan dasha, I use Uru dasha, I use this dasha, that dasha. So at least two dasha systems you should use. So if you are a beginner, start with Vimshotri, and then you can include gradually Chara dasha. Then you can include Yogini dasha. Okay, then you can include other things like Narayan dasha, Uru dasha, whatever. So why I'm saying include two things, because for example, a particular dasha may say that this house is active, and you are like, oh, this event will happen. Like for example, if there's a planet in the seventh and that planet's dasha is active, is going on, so you will say, oh, maybe the person is 25 plus, so marriage can happen. But maybe another dasha is saying no, something in the career will happen. So that means by that you can understand maybe something related to business, but business partnerships will happen at a professional level, because one dasha is showing something to do with seventh house. So it can be marriage or it can be professional gains through business in general, collaborations. And the other dasha is showing that there is something going on in the profession. So then it is money through business. Okay. Otherwise, imagine you just saw the chart. Oh, seventh house, marriage. Ooh, no marriage. So then what happens? What will your client go and do? He or she will say, oh, this astrologer was a fraud. This person, whatever he or she said, did not match, and maybe astrology itself is a lie. Okay, so therefore, number 3, please follow the steps. Number 1, overall chart analysis. Number 2, your dashas. Number 3, transits. People will do the opposite. People will say, oh, Jupiter is transiting, in my 7th house, so I'm gonna get married now. But oh, dasha is of 6th house, so I don't know what will happen. Oh, my majority planets are here. They're not. Wrong, wrong, wrong. If you do this, you will make blunders, like such epic blunders that you will not be able to forget. Okay, and especially those who you give the consultations will remember you. So number 1, please analyze the overall chart. Please do that for us. Lagna Lord, planets in Lagna, Sun, Moon, the D1, 5th Lord, 9th Lord, Atma Karak. These are the most important planets. They will actually tell you what is going on. These houses and these planets, inherent nature, fundamental nature of the person will come from these houses and these planets. And once you know that, then you can go to the dashas. The dashas can tell you if the goodness or the trouble in the chart is going to be there currently or not. So, for example, if the chart is very good, most of the planets are very good. And if the dasha of a planet is going on and that planet is also good, then the goodness will continue and it will increase. But suppose there are 5 good planets and 4 bad planets. Bad in the sense, bad for generic events like, marriage, career, whatever. And that planet's Mahadasha is running. So you know that inherently the person is good, but during that period, the person will make some bad choices. Okay. And bad things will happen also. So either the person screws it up or destiny screws it up. So either ways, there's trouble. Okay. But the dashas cannot override what the overall chart says. Okay. Like, for example, if a person has a very weak or a very bad chart, and there is, imagine there are 2 planets which are very good. So one planet's Mahadasha comes. So then the person will have a reasonably good life, but the level will be very less. The standard at which the person plays the game will be insignificant. Okay. And that person will not have prominence in this world. And when I say prominence, I don't mean $1,000,000, but will not offer any contribution to society, will just exist and then perish one day. Okay. No active contribution to society. And then you look at transits, but we do the opposite, right? And that is why our predictions fail. Now, number 4, the D1 chart should be primarily used for timing of external events. Like, for example, 8th house, defamation can happen, inheritance can be there, 7th house, marriage, blah, blah, blah. And the divisional charts should primarily be used for seeing the mind, like the D9. What does the person do when he's alone? D10, what does she do when she is in her job? Okay, or when she's doing her business? Then we have the other divisional charts, right? You know them. So then, if you want to see how is the person, then you see the divisional charts and what kind of things will the person do, what kind of events will happen, good or bad. All these things must be seen from the D1. And when I say the D1, I mean the Lagna chart and most importantly, the Bhavachalit chart. All right. Please remember placements from the house placements from the Bhavachalit chart, conjunctions and aspects from the Lagna chart. So house placements and lordships from the Bhavachalit. Okay. And conjunctions and aspects from the Lagna chart, as you know, as the D1. So therefore, when you do this, then what happens, you get a clear picture. Oh, this is how the person is internally, and this is what the person will do externally. So then it it all makes sense. Otherwise you'll be like, oh, this person is somebody, and what will the person do, what will happen, so you'll be very confused. So if you do this, like D1 outside, D9, D10 internally, then you know what the person wants in life, and then the D1 Bhavchalit will tell you if that will happen, to what extent, or if that will not happen at all. Okay, so that's how you can actually help the person. Now, number 5, this is very, very, very important. I see people doing random things. No, random things are not very good. Like, for example, first you should, if you are initial, like, you are studying astrology from 1 year, then you should be able to give some direction to a person, like, in general, like very general, like, oh, maybe these areas are good for you, very generic, okay? Or maybe these areas are not good for you, okay? Then after 2 to 3 years, you should be able to tell them that, okay, after 3 years, especially, you should be able to give some generic prediction about events. Very, very generic. Like, okay, this year you might get married. In this Antardasha, there might be marriage. Okay. Then after 5 years, you should be able to give monthly predictions. Like, okay, uh, marriage will happen May 2025. Yes, bang on. Childbirth will happen during this time. And then if you are around, like, 8 to 10 years, then you should be able to make daily predictions, like daily predictions in the sense, like, of course, the client will not ask you, please predict for every day for the rest of my life. No, but in general, if somebody is asking something very specific, like, what are some good days in the next 2 months where I might get a promotion or there could be problems. So this is the trajectory, 1 year generic things, then 3 years generic events, yearly based events, antardasha based events, okay, and then 5 years, you should be able to make predictions up to the month, and then 8 to 10 years up to the date, okay. Number 6, stick to one system of astrology 90% of the times, and only if required, go to others, okay. Otherwise, what we do is, oh, I am learning Jaimini, I am learning Nadi, I am learning KP, Parashari, this, that, blah, 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 and can I predict something? No, I can't. Okay. So what is the use? You are learning all systems and you can do nothing. Okay, so it's a waste of time. So in 2 to 3 years, you should be able to make some generic predictions. Generic. I'm not saying you predict the next election. I'm not saying that. But something very generic. Okay, you should be able to do. And if you do it, then that means you have mastered one particular skill or one domain. So if you are learning Parashari, then master Parashari. If you are learning Nadi, then master Nadi. Okay. And if you are not getting answers, then go to some other domain. Okay. From Parashari, you go to Nadi, you go to KP, you go to Brigunandi Nadi, whatever is required, do that. Okay. But please, please, please master one domain and only then go to others. Okay. Number 7, no matter how long you have been learning astrology, how good your predictions are, never stop learning. So once you cross 7, 8, 9, 10 years, you can start diversifying. Like Warren Buffett says, right? Don't put all eggs in one basket. So number 7 is contradictory to number 6. Okay, so number 6 is beginner. Initially, first 7, 8, 10 years, you do that. And then after 8 to 10 years, you're like, okay, I have mastered this domain. I can very easily answer using this. And you get good feedback from other people. Your clients come back to you. They recommend their friends, family members, and other colleagues to you. Then you are like, okay, now I can go to some other domain so that I can make better predictions. Okay, this is why you should also look to other domains, but that should be at least after minimum after 7, 8 years, not initially. Initially, you must narrow down. Okay. Number 8, never stop practicing on your closed ones. What does this mean? You should have at least 25 charts of your close friends, childhood friends, your family members, your parents, your children, your spouse, where every other day you can practice some technique or the other. Always. Because you know their lives thoroughly and you can ask questions to them. Because imagine you are starting the chart of celebrities, like you are starting, whatever, or, Aishwarya Rai's chart or Shah Rukh Khan's chart, Kim Kardashian's chart. You can't ask any question. Who knows what is written in the online Wikipedia? Is that correct or not about them? Nobody knows, right? The dates may be correct, but who knows the inside story? So only the closed people that you have some chance to get real information. Okay, so please keep at least 20-25 charts handy. Seniors, equals, and juniors. Then that will help you. Okay, and keep practicing on them. That's number 8. Number 9, very, very, very important. Desh, Kal, Patra, time, place, circumstances. Please don't ignore time, place, circumstances. Like, for example, if a person is in US or Europe or Australia, the thought process will be a bit different. If the person is in India, the person may be a bit more religious by default. So therefore, you have to take this into consideration. For example, if a person is born in a Bania family or in modern entrepreneur family, so then in that chart, person's chart, Mercury is very powerful by default because the person has that knowledge in their genes, is there in the Varna. Okay, that cannot be taken out. Or if a person is born in a family where the parents are actors, or at least one of them is an actor, so you will see they will look also very nice. They will also be very attractive. Generally, you will see that. So then they have a higher probability to also go into acting, okay, or modeling or fashion. So Desh Kal Patra should be used. Don't forget it. And number 10, numerology and palmistry, very important. Astrology is important, but primarily for personal life. Numerology is more important for career. And palmistry is useful when there are certain questions which numerology and astrology cannot answer. Then we use palmistry, okay? And the planets in your numerology are very important in your horoscope. What do I mean by this? For example, you are born on 15th. So 1, 5, and 6 are very important. Now, what is 1? 1 is Sun, 5 is Mercury, 6 is Venus. So Sun, Mercury, Venus, they are very important in your horoscope. So your destiny number, Bhagyank, the sum of the entire date of birth, that is 2, for example. So Moon is very important in your horoscope. Okay. So look at the numbers in your numerology, your basic number, destiny number, and the other numbers, and look at how the planet is placed, okay, in your chart. So by that, you will actually know what happens, okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so a very different video today. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you would like me to answer any specific question regarding these 10 things, then please let me know down in the comments. I would love to answer them. All right. And please let me know how did you feel about this video and how many of these are you applying constantly in your life and how have they benefited you, or any other technique. And yes, one bonus technique I forgot to mention, maybe the most important technique, get a mentor. Okay, get learn online or offline in a community. Only then you will learn. All right, so that is non-negotiable. Thank you so much. Please take care. Jai Siya Ram.